Alright, just want to go over a couple things with you guys before I start this video. I do not take responsibility if you decide to change your oil after this and you cause damage. This video is for entertainment only. Make sure you know how to change your oil on that vehicle you are working on before you change your oil. Changing oil is a very, very simple task, but if done incorrectly, it can cost you a lot of money. If the vehicle requires a certain oil, say it's a synthetic and it's expensive, use that oil. You don't put diesel in your gas engine because diesel's cheaper that month. It will ruin your engine. Same with using the wrong oil. Always use the correct amount of oil. My vehicle takes 6 quarts of oil, so I'll be putting 6 quarts in this video. Then I check the dipstick to make sure it's at the correct level. Just because you put that oil in there doesn't mean it's correct. Make sure the dipstick says it's correct, because that's what we go off of. Also, make sure you put your drain plug and your oil filter on correctly and to the correct tightness. You don't want to over tighten these and you don't want to under tighten these. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like and subscribe and have a great day. Alright, so I'm going to be showing you how to change your oil on any vehicle. It's kind of simple. There's 4 things you need to find: a dipstick, oil filter, oil fill, and drain plug. So on my truck, I got a 2002 Chevy Silverado. But on mine, I have, and this is all the Silverados with the 5.3R, or my oil fill is right here. So I'll pop that off. And then the yellow one right here is a dipstick. So I found those 2 items. And if you come underneath, once you get underneath the truck, it's pretty easy to kind of figure out which is the engine and transmission. The front one will be the engine, transmission will be the middle. Like right here, you'll have a big old pan, and usually the transmission has a drain plug in the middle of the pan on the ground, whereas the engine will have it on the side right here on the back of the oil pan. And my filter's right there. Sometimes the filters are kind of hidden. Some vehicles will have skid plates underneath that will have like a little special spot and have an oil filter, and you have to pop that little piece off. Some vehicles are in a different spot, but once you find those 4 things, I like to get the oil filter loose, because if I can't get the oil filter off and I drain the oil, it just makes dirty oil because it's not going to filter it correctly. I also try to get the oil plug loose before I drain it as well with the filter. That way I know I can get the oil changed with no issues, and that way I'm not just wasting money. Alright, so when you do an oil change, you always use the box end, because the box end has a lot more teeth in it, so it won't strip. Where this end right here, the open end, can slide off pretty easy. And you do not want to strip that drain plug, because if you strip that drain plug, it is a nightmare to get off. So remember, it's always lefty loosey, righty tighty. So I can get the drain plug loose, it's cracked. So now I don't have a oil filter wrench on me at the moment, but I can just use some pliers, and my oil filter's loose. So I'm clear to drain oil. So I'm gonna be able to get both the 2 pieces I need off. So, sometimes the oil can shoot out with some pressure, so make sure you're out of the way. And we were definitely due for an oil change, just like the light said. You always want to look at the drain plug itself, make sure there's no metal shavings on it. And my drain plug has a little gasket on it, so it's reusable. Some vehicles and makes, you have to get the new gasket for it, so it seals up. I also forgot to mention, some oil filters on the newer vehicles are internal filters. So they're black like this, but there'll be a plastic cap, and they'll have a bolt on them to unscrew, and the filter's inside. So don't be shocked if O'Reilly's gives you a filter that looks different from mine. All vehicles are different. And then we'll move this over here to get it draining. So then you just let it drain and I'll be back. Alright, so once your oil's done draining, get your oil filter out. I take some of the old oil, get a little bit of it. So my dad showed me, and they informed me when I was working in an oil company. Take the oil, you put it on here so it lubricates it. That way you can get your oil filter back off the next time you want to change it. Because you don't do it, these things seal on. You see how easy it was for me to get my oil filter off. And it wasn't leaking from there either. So it wasn't like it caused an issue where my oil filter was too loose. And you just put it on. And you never ever crank these things down. You hand tighten them, get them tight. They will tighten up more by themselves. You don't leave them loose. But you definitely do not put a tool on there to tighten it down. Once that's in, you get your oil plug. You always make sure you put this in as far as you can, go by hand. You never want to cross-thread an oil plug. That was a nightmare when people used to come in with cross-threaded or stripped drain plugs. And then, I don't know where I put my tool. And you never over tighten a drain plug either. Just getting nice and firm. So once this is all done, you add the oil, obviously. Don't ever fire up a dry engine. Once it's fired up or oiled up, everything's sealed up and you're verified it's all sealed, you start it up. Let it run for a second, and then we used to give it a little throttle at the oil place to build pressure to see if we have a guy down here underneath to make sure nothing else is leaking. And once that's done, you turn off the vehicle and you check your oil. So here we are at the top of the oil. I recommend you guys use a filter or a funnel. I don't always use one. You can make one easy out of a water bottle, but I usually just take my rag because I got a decent steady pour. That way, if I do miss, it catches oil so it doesn't go run down the side of the engine. Because if you leave it there, it could be a fire issue, but if you just clean it up, it's no big deal. So my truck takes 6 quarts of oil, so I'll dump all 6 in there. And remember, always make sure your drain plug's on before you start filling oil, because at that point you're just throwing money out the drain. Alright, once that's all done, put your oil cap back on. Make sure to wipe up any oil that you might have spilled. Helps keep your engine clean. And if you get a lot of oil somewhere, get hot, especially if these headers below them, and that can cause a fire. And you know, fires are not fun on the vehicle. So once you get that, you get your dipstick cleaned off. That old oil off there. Turn off your engine, go back underneath and check your drain plug and oil filter. You should have put them on tight enough where there should be no leaking. Not too tight, but just right. Once you verify that there's no leaks underneath, you go back topside and check your oil level. So you pull out your dipstick, and on it you'll have these little markings. You want your oil up here. That's full, that's low. If it's down here, you need to put some oil on it. You know, anywhere like right here is usually pretty good. You know, every time it's going to be a little different because it's not a perfect world. You don't get exactly 6 quarts in there. You can take your time and get it to exactly right there if you'd like. But I usually put the 6 quarts in if I'm anywhere in here on this last bar. That's good. If you check your dipstick and you got no oil on it, might be time to add some oil. So as you can see, I'm right on the money. It's golden. Nice, beautiful, clean oil. Nice and full. Helps keep your engine running good. So I went to reset the oil light and show you how to do it on the Chevy Silverado. I did not hit record. I did it successfully and turned off the light. The problem about that is I can't go back and film it. So the way to do the Chevys are you turn on the key, you fully compress the gas pedal and let off of it. I believe it's 6 times in 5 seconds. I just spam it. It's off. It's not carbureted. You're not gonna flood the carburetor. It's fuel injection. When it's off, it's not sending fuel. So I've never had an issue doing this. It works every time. Other vehicles, they have buttons on the dash you need to press and hold. I'm not going to get into how to do every single car. There is YouTube videos on most cars. Some cars are extremely hard, like if you get a Mercedes or a BMW, it might take you a minute to figure it out. But you can figure it out. It's pretty simple. If you have the owner's manual, sometimes it's in there. If not, just use YouTube and Google.